I want to begin by saying how appropriate it is that I'm sharing now, today, on Yud Zayin Tammuz, which is Taif. And I know it's a fast day and it doesn't seem like a nice day, a good day. It's a day that the luchos were broken. But what the Rebbe explains is that it is a good day. It's just not the kind of good that we are thinking. And that is what our experiences right now are. It's the kind of miracles that when we see the entire picture afterwards, we understand everything. Not that, it was, there was a tree and the candies grew on the tree, right? It's the kind of miracle that nature itself changes. And what I'm about to share is that kind of miracle. It's the kind of stuff that didn't look good, feel good. And after the fact, it's like, how on earth? There's no way I could have done that on my own. I'll begin with way back. Everything that I've done here on Freedom Dancer has been with the Rebbe's advice and suggestions, and more than suggestions, directives. From day one, opening up the Igris and it's saying that I should write down my story, to the next time I open it up, it says I should share my story, and it gave a specific school, which I didn't want to go to. So I close it, and it said it again and again and again until I had no choice. I actually was at the aisle, I think, for my birthday, and that school was there, and I said, okay, Ad Khan, I'll do it, fine. So when I got the kind of response from them that they, after I did it and I asked for feedback, and they said, oh, we don't think that it's for our girls. It didn't seem to add up. The Rebbe just told me to do it. How could it be? And then when a day later I get a response from one of the mothers of the girls that she so appreciates me coming to talk to the girls because it's the first time her daughter feels understood. Okay, that was years ago. Fast forward to this year, I shared about wanting to come to the teacher's retreat and being told that they didn't think it was a good fit. It's not a tool, and it's not either extracurricular, so it's just not a good fit. And this deep anger coming up inside me that the children will have to wait another whole year until potentially it could come. Why? Because I've been approaching many schools and many different spaces and being told no again and again. Sometimes completely ignored, and other times, the nicer times, being told no. And I realized that I needed teachers to experience it so they're not scared of it, they understand what it is, and then potentially bring it into their schools and communities. And if this wouldn't happen this year, what other space would there be for this? And I would have to wait another year till maybe next year they'll be able to understand and bring it on board. I don't know. So the deep anger came up in me, and through a series of events, because the courage got lost pretty fast. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna talk to different person, but by the next morning I was like, no, whatever. But through the encouragement of a few friends, I was like, okay. And Baruch Hashem, it was brought in, but I was told that no one would show up, or very little, because it's kind of extracurricular. Teachers are looking for tools. And as the date is getting closer, I had decided to use it as a promotional video, to bring down a professional videographer and to have it professionally videoed. And as it's getting closer, I had to ask some teachers to be interviewed afterwards. Just give a minute or half a minute of feedback, so that we have some faces on, endorsing it or saying that they've watched it. And, and I was having a really difficult time. Either people didn't want to be on the video, or they weren't coming to the workshop. They said they wanted to go to different ones that they needed, the tools. And it was getting closer. It was getting to Wednesday, Thursday night, after receiving multiple no's and also being told that they didn't want me to do these interviews. They hadn't realized I was doing it. They didn't really want me to do it, and just reminded me that, by the way, probably no one's going to come, or very little. I decided that night I was going to go to the aisle the next morning. So the next morning was Friday. So I go to the aisle on Friday, and I come to the aisle, and I poured out my heart, and I said, listen, from day one, you've directed me. I've gotten many no's. Yes, you supported me. You showed me miracles throughout. You've shown me you're there. But I'm done failing. And what I mean by failing is coming and having 2 women show up, 3 women, 4 women, or being told no. I'm done. I can't. And what I need to see is a crowd. That would be success to me if I saw a crowd there. That would be your bracha. And I went to the aisle, and I read the letter, and then I realized, you know what? There are many shluchim or shluchais that could get this idea to people. People heal in many different ways. It doesn't have to be through me. I'll go home and just and go on with my life. It does not have to be through me. And I said, okay, there you go. So I let it go. And then I go into the aisle and I sit down by the video. And what the video was talking about is that quantity matters. The more quantity, the more light to Hashem. And the more the person who's giving over what they're giving over is more the work, the space itself gets more quality from the quantity. And I was like, whoa, this has nothing to do with me. This is a deep desire Hashem wants for me, and he's showing me this bracha. And then it concluded the video by saying that you would think many years after the Frierdiker Rebbe passed away, the teachings would get less and less, but actually they're more understood and more understood over time. And that was underneath something I thought about. I didn't write it in the letter, but it was underneath, was what's if I'm just understanding all of this wrong? What's if I'm completely off base? And that was the Rebbe saying, no, you're completely on, and people need this. And I went home with that bracha, and I made sure to record it all. I have it all on video, and I recorded it after so that I wouldn't forget. And on the way home, I started crying when I heard this music go on of we went round and round in circles until the world's done no like the world had done no wrong, and right, they held the children like the taras. And I started crying, and there's this deep pain for the children. I didn't understand why I'm crying. I got a nice bracha, so I felt like relieved. Maybe that's what I was crying about, but specifically this song about the children and the being the taras. And I get home, and it's Friday, right? Shabbos, I open up the magazine, and it was Miriam's yahrzeit in that week. This was the week before the workshop. And I think it was Yemima Mizrahi was writing that Miriam's pain is the pain of the children. Because Miriam's the one who told her parents to have more children. She's the one who holds the pain of the children. And I understood why I was crying then. And I also realized that it was Miriam's yahrzeit. I had no idea. I didn't learn the Chumash that week. And so because I read that, I opened up the Chumash to the portion about Miriam and the well drying up. And what the Rebbe explains on the well of Miriam is that Tara is like bread. And the well of Miriam is the water that helps the bread be digested properly and get to all parts of the body. I was like, whoa, because there's a few things here. First of all, knowing that it was Miriam's yahrzeit that week, I understood why this was so powerful specifically in this week. Because, okay, maybe I didn't share yet, I am Miriam, named for Miriam. And this workshop is about Miriam's work. It's about feeling the pain deeply. And in doing so, that's how we experience true joy, being able to open our hearts again. And so these words about Miriam's well being the water that helps the Torah be digested properly, I understood as being that this workshop, being in this space of opening our hearts, allows the Torah to be digested properly, to go into all parts of our system, because Torah is sweet. Torah also is ours, specifically the Torah of Mashiach, which we know that today the luchos were broken. And what's the higher good that the luchos were broken is that we have Torah's Mashiach now, which is a Torah that can't be separated from us. It's the Torah that is within our bodies, that we understand on a da'as level, that our body understands it. And this workshop is about getting to that space. And so it was another bracha for that, and also a deep understanding for why specifically in this week. And just I'll end with this final little big miracle. I mentioned about having a difficult time getting teachers to do the interviews and then being told I can't do the interviews anyway. And I did the workshop, and after the workshop, many women came over to me and were going on and on, Baruch Hashem, about what their experience was like, how soothed they felt, how in their body they came in their heads, and they felt like they're in their bodies, how necessary this is. And there was one specific woman that came over and said, this literally saved her life. Not me right now, but this idea saved her life. And she was lucky enough to receive this from her husband, who does something similar. And that we don't realize how much we need this. And she told me, I probably don't realize even how much this is necessary, and how much, I probably don't realize how much more there is to what I'm even doing. And she was very enthusiastic about it. And Michal Hartman is the one who's doing the video. She comes over and she clips a mic onto this woman. She says, I don't need to ask you permission. She's my classmate, like we're old friends, and she's gonna agree to do this. And she said, okay, yes, absolutely. If more people could be helped, I'm gonna do this. And she got interviewed. It was an official interview. And that's how we got the feedback that we needed for the video. Again, these are the kind of miracles that there's no way I could have planned for it. I had no idea who's coming. I had no idea that they were friends. So much of it, it's impossible for us human beings to do. But that's the miracles of redemption. The miracles of redemption is that of allowing ourselves to feel everything. And in that, receiving our intuition of where it is that we need to go with it. And with that, receiving our Torah, our individual Torahs, and directives of where we're needed, what part of creation Hashem wants us to be in right now, how he wants his essence revealed right now. And that's another thing of this week's Torah portion. The Rebbe speaks about being completely in every experience we're in. It's the week that Eretz Yisrael was divided up and the portions were spoken out. And it was a miracle. And the Rebbe says the reason for this miracle is because even though it was a preparation for the mitzvah, everything we do needs to be with every part of us. There's a lot more there, but that's the idea. How do we get all of us in everything? Is only by allowing the blocks to come up, be unblocked, And now you have full access to your systems. And then you could get all of you on board. Thank you so much for listening. And I hope each one of you have your type that you will share either today or in the very near future. Take care.